Okay, coming to you live from the Pacific Northwest for episode one of the Three Stooges. And we've got here, and we're going to talk about a little bit of stuff tonight, kind of keep it light, but talk about some serious stuff. And I don't know, I thought I'd start off with.
And we're going to
Sorry.
talk about a little bit of stuff tonight, kind of keep it light, but talk about some serious stuff. And
Okay, Scarecrow,
I don't
you're
know, I
getting
thought I
feedback.
just talked about. How's that?
Mute your mic. Okay. So, what do you guys think about? I don't know if you guys saw what happened, with in Rome with Biden there. Remo, quit. And his all his gaffes and everything.
He must have had his earpiece out.
Yeah, right. No, Obama wasn't talking in it, right?
Yeah, that guy's a fucking embarrassment. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, right. And let's see here. We got. Let me check chat.
He's the most popular president ever. Well, how can
Right.
you say that?
We got President Charlotte. Sometimes was in here. True Seeker female in Watcher. How's it going, Watcher? Sorry, I knew this was gonna happen. My dog is going nuts. Come
Oh,
here. No, come here. All right. There's always a glitch with live feeds, man. Can't control dogs, man. Uh, your comment said it all, huh? Oh, no work for you tonight. So anyway, we wanted to, start a weekly live feed Saturday nights, 6 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. or 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific to kind of, you know, work with Scarecrow here because he's on the East Coast time, and you know, JC and I are on the West Coast, so maybe we would, lighten it up a little bit. And, I know myself and JC get a little serious sometimes, but we can still, be a little humorous and talk about serious stuff and be funny at the same time. So
right.
we had a good conversation last night, man. How long did that one go? Like an hour and
2 hours?
30 minutes, man.
Oh, the president's at the World Series today.
Oh, is he?
The real one.
Oh, okay. All right. I was gonna say, yeah.
President Trump and his
Hopefully
wife.
Atlanta wins, man. That'll stick
Right
it to
now
the
it's 1-0 Houston.
Oh, true seeker female president is a embarrassment to our country. I'd agree with that. Yeah, definitely. The he just, I mean, what's going on with all the leaders in countries looking down at the United States now. I mean, it's just disgusting how how far we've fallen, and what we're up on 10 months here. How much the country's been just pretty much getting close to being destroyed, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens with all these walkouts, that are happening, and the mandate backfire that's happening in New York City and other places. Uh, I mean, you guys seen any pushback up there, Scarecrow, in your area, up in the Northeast
They haven't done that here
from?
yet. No,
Oh
nobody's
yeah,
getting fired
cool.
so
There's
far.
still, I think, they got all these out here in the Northwest. They got all these mandates, but they're kind of being like pushing them back a little bit. Like the rent moratorium for Washington State that got extended is gonna expire tomorrow night, and
So
they're saying
who's paying
nobody's
for the
gonna
rent?
move. What's that?
Uh, who's paying the rent
I
on
don't
the rent
know,
market?
man.
The landlord's not
Uh,
getting paid, or
yeah, I mean it's hurting. A lot of these. If I rented a house, I'd be pissed. If I had a house that I was renting, couldn't get rent.
yeah, how can those people make their payments?
Oh, Debbie Carson's here. Probably my first subscriber ever. Hi, Debbie. How you doing? She's a little north of me up here in the Pacific Northwest. They got a ton of rain. Looks like there's a lot of flooding up in the Seattle area, surrounding area and stuff. But you there, JC? Mic check, buddy.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, cool. And you guys are seeing quite a bit of pushback down there in California, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. We're seeing some, but it's the deal in California, so you know it's a lot of cheese puffers down here. So yeah, I wouldn't say there's a significant enough pushback uh, statewide to make a big impact, but um, and you all know what happened with the recall election, so that was an embarrassment. That was a great disappointment. But
Yeah,
anyway,
Yeah, there's not much pushback here in Oregon right now. I mean, there's been a couple lawsuits, but I did see today that Maine, where they struck down the Supreme Court wasn't going to hear the Maine. Somebody from Maine put in a lawsuit, and two of the Supreme Court justices, Barrett and I think Gorsuch, I think it was Gorsuch, sided with John Roberts against it. So it's like, all these people that are, supposed to be conservative on the Supreme Court are turning out not to be conservative. I'm worried about when all these lawsuits finally come to, get to the Supreme Court. They could cave because Roberts. I mean, he's a he's a piece of work in my opinion. Thanks to him, we got Obamacare. Oh, JC popped out again. Oh, he's
wow.
back. Hang on a second here. All right, here we go. Okay, are you back? JC. Technical issues. Oh, hey, Scarecrow, what do you think about them? They're going to hire like a ton of IRS agents, and then they're going to start. They had that $600, transaction, and then in your bank account that they're going to be able or had to be reported. Now they're raising it to 10,000, but it's a cumulative in the new bill. Build back better. It's more like build back broke. Uh, but they're raising it to 10,000. $10,000 worth of transactions per bank account per year, and it's like, who the hell has a bank account that doesn't spend $10,000 a year? You know, it's, I mean, it's insane what they're trying to do.
Well, especially anybody that has direct deposit.
Right? Exactly. Yep. 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 Oh, we lost JC again.
Wow. He must be using his phone.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. True Seeker female regarding to the U.S. cargo article from 2019 forces in China out of the port of Long Beach terminal ownership. It's a must read. Well, okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I know China. I mean, you got Costco and, a lot of Hanjin and all these other, companies that ship stuff, from China, which you know, we need to
There's
stop.
a there's a lot of shortages on Amazon right now.
Oh, really?
If you go on there, there's a lot of things that are what they call back ordered or out of stock.
Right, right, right.
I just went on there for shits and giggles and took a look around, and they're all waiting for products.
Yeah,
And a
well,
lot of them
if
are
people,
saying about 2 weeks, but you wait and see. 2 weeks from now will be 2 more weeks.
right, right, 2 weeks to flatten the curve or get the ships into port, right? And then it's a year and a
Hmm.
half later. We,
Right.
but people need to stop going on Am. I mean, my opinion, personal opinion. People need to stop being, oh, I gotta, I want everything to be convenient, and I can't do anything in ordering from Amazon. I mean, because I dealt with Amazon for about 12 years, and then jobs, and God, what a nightmare it is dealing with them. You know,
I'm sure it
as
is.
an Amazon reseller in both instances, it's I don't know what's going on with JC tonight, man. Come back, dude.
You must be working on it.
Yeah. Must be that non-Apple phone that he brags about so much.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
What's he
we go back
What's he
and forth.
using?
Or what's that?
What's he using for a phone?
Something Android related. Hang on, let me see if I can get. What? He just popped up and as a guest. Okay, there he is. It disappeared. All right, there we go.
Yeah,
Okay, we got you, but no icon.
yeah.
So, mic check.
Hello.
There you go.
I have to apologize, man. I tested all this like 2 hours ago, and it was perfectly fine. No problems. So I apologize, folks. Sorry about that.
Oh, it was
It
working
happens.
fine before, so that's why I wanted to do that. But yeah, yeah, yeah. Must be that Android operating system or something,
Of
man.
course, go ahead and blame it on Android. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Well, you'll probably be surprised to hear me say this, um, but I've actually been looking more at Apple products because they seem to be coming up with some different privacy enhancements. But again, I was talking to Watcher recently about that too, and they're scooping everything. I mean, there's always back doors. There's always,
Right, right, right.
I don't. Maybe it's. I will agree that I do like the aspect of Apple being somewhat more of a enclosed or not enclosed, but a private system where they got a little bit, probably a little bit better. With Android, my ass is in the wind. So whatever,
Right.
so to
Well,
speak.
it's not SDK and API is not available, right? They lock that down, so you're gonna have fewer people writing, stuff that work on it. I mean, I'm sure they have an SDK, but they don't put everything in there. Um,
Hmm.
so if anybody doesn't know what it is, SDK means software development kit, um, which you can, it's a code, and then you can the software is built off, and then you can build off of that more. But
Let's see, who do we got here? Welcome everybody in. I'm just looking at where's the comments. Okay, there they go. Sorry, truth seeker female. Hey, long time no see.
yeah,
Uh, on our part, not on her part. Just yeah. Let's see. Really type of phones. Uh, Stooges in the office. Debbie Carson said Stooges in the office. Awesome. Um, yep, yep. We can hear Remo. Remo doesn't like it when Daddy gets on the phone.
yeah. No, he's. I mean, at least he just whines. He doesn't bark. But yeah, it's just he's getting old. I mean, he's gonna be 13 in February, so he's
Mm,
getting a little. Dad, where's my attention? And then he ignores me the rest of the day.
all right. Well, yeah. So three Stooges on the panel. So what's the any particular topic you want to bring up or talk about or get some input from the audience or
Well,
chat?
I mean, it's just I've been thinking all day about a lot of things, and me, my brain never stops, and I did see a thing today, with COP 26 there, the thing in Ireland about global warming and stuff, and I saw a video, I think it was on Reuters or something, where Greta Thunberg showed up, and there was a bunch of people yelling at her, and I thought that was pretty funny. you know?
Hey Bill, can you drop the link in the chat for anybody who wants to come up with the panel, please?
Yeah, I thought we were gonna keep this close, but yeah, I can do that. Hang on one
Oh,
second.
okay. I'm sorry.
Well,
I didn't.
just for a little bit. I don't want to, go too long tonight, but yeah,
Okay, Roger that. I didn't hear that.
yeah.
Okay,
And we're
I
always
missed it.
for
Okay.
interactions, but let me cancel that. Let's go to guests.
Sorry, didn't mean
Yeah.
to step
So
on
if
your
anybody
toes there.
wants to come up,
I'm sorry.
Watcher, yeah, Watcher is probably the first person that's ever gotten how I gave Remo his name. Remo Williams. Yep, that was a great movie. The Adventures of Remo Williams. There you go. If anybody wants to come up, we don't want to hog all the airtime, and we like interaction.
Wasn't that the name of the toilet?
Uh, Not in the movie. No, it was a guy that he got shot, and they rearranged his face, and he was like a special agent trained by a Korean guy that was like, you know, special. Yeah, I mean, and the guy he was like into an ancient, I don't know what it is, taekwondo, karate, ninja type guy, and I mean it was a good movie. I mean it's a B movie in the '80s, but it's still a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Watcher, if you want to come up, feel free, man.
Hey, you all know I went to the precious metals sanctuary today, if you know what I mean,
Yeah.
with my
Sure.
son, and I was thinking of our friend in the Northeast while I was in there today. I was like, oh yeah, I like that precious metal. Oh, that one's even nicer. Oh, oh, and yeah,
Did you look at the R brand?
yes, of course I did. Of course I did, and I think it was the P25/40. At least that's what they had it labeled as. I don't know. P25/40.
225?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
At least that's what they had it labeled as. They had it as a P25.40. So if you know what I mean, sure you know it. But
Actually, I don't.
oh shit. Okay. Well,
That's why I'm confused. I don't remember that model. Is that a handgun?
yes, sir. Very nice. Very nicely balanced. SIG. But and then I got to shoot a Kimber, and
Nice.
let me tell you that 357. Holy shit! Holy shit! Wow.
We just got an order for the Texas State Troopers for 2,500 P365s.
Oh.
You know what those are? Do you
Yeah.
know? Maybe you don't. That's the
Well,
one you put in your pocket.
yeah, I know.
Mm.
Yeah.
I was surprised they bought those.
Yeah. Well.
That many.
Mhm.
So you know what that means? That's a second firearm.
Right. Yeah. We can insinuate from there further, but I'd be careful about you know disclosing too much. But yeah,
Mhm.
we get it. We get it.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
sitting back thinking the same thing, man.
well. Oh, we forgot to say hi to Google. Hi
Oh yeah,
Google. Hey Google.
yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, so how's Jimmy and what do Jimmy and Joey think about what's going on right now? You know, are they
Well,
active or?
I think Jimmy's really nervous. Jimmy gets confused real easy, and he's not a worldly man, let's just say. Um, and so he's a little nervous. Joe is just, he's just pissing in the wind. He doesn't care. Um, but it's it is what it is, and so yeah, I don't know. Um, it's definitely a interesting time we're living in, right? So, but I did have some interesting conversations today. Uh, one with uh, one with my son, and of whom I went to go to the precious metals store, and uh, had a very interesting conversation um, about building and connecting and networking with people, and the potentiality of underground economies, if you will, if that's what you want to call them. So I had a pretty good conversation with him today, and some interesting points, and um, so we discussed a few things about networking methods or tactics, or how to get connected with the local area. Um, and again, I know where I'm at, so it's not as easy as it might be in other places. But I do think that's people probably tired of hearing me talk about it. But my opinion is that we only get stronger connected and resourcing together. So
Right.
um, whether it's locally, regionally, whatever, just within your state, whatever the case is. But this concept of mutual assistance groups and mags, stuff like that. I sure hope there are a lot of people out there um, talking about it, and maybe putting some things into action, because I think the economic situation is about to be like La Palma over there in the Canary Islands pretty soon here, um, in my humble opinion. But
Oh
I
yeah. So
yeah,
you don't want to talk about earthquakes and solar flares and all the crap we can't control? Oh, what the hell,
right,
man? Come on,
right,
man.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So what? Fill me in on the Canary Islands. What's that story?
You don't know about the volcano there? That's the La Palma on the island, or one of the islands called La Palma, in the Canary
No.
Islands.
I
Just
haven't watched much news since the election.
jeez, come on, man. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, the volcano over there that's it's been erupting since like the first week of September.
Yeah,
It's
it's
off
been
the African coast.
Oh,
It's the eastern coast of Africa, if I'm correct. I don't know. It could be the western coast of
right,
Africa.
and everybody's worried about a landslide because that would huge landslide would probably get a tsunami on the east coast, which
yeah.
I didn't want to get into worrying about shit we can't control, man.
I'm
But
surprised they're not worried about the global warming from that. Because if you think about that, that is a million times more than the pollution that people are putting out.
yep. Well, and I guess I'll go for it. I saw a live feed of the big volcano in Hawaii popping off and it's spitting out lava and shit. But
Uh,
I only mentioned that to be kind of facetious and because a lot of people that do live streams for hours upon end they talk about all the shit that you can't control, like, oh, there's an earthquake here and there's a hurricane here, and it's like, well, you can't control it, so we can't control our liberties and our freedoms. But I guess a lot of people worry about that shit. It's like, well, if a big sun flare hits us, we're all fucked. So whatever, you know.
Yeah, I think that comment there about I don't know if you want to punch it up, uh, Bill, on true seeker female. Uh, each state
Oh,
has
no.
their, yeah, yep. Um,
But my question to that though is, why is everybody waiting till shit hits a fan?
yeah, I
That's
always worry about my constitutional rights being taken from me.
right. But I know you wanted to chime in on that, JC, on that comment from True Seeker Female, but I had to throw that in because my first thought was, you know, uh, well, everybody's saying, just wait till shit hits the fan. It's like shit hit the fan a long time ago, man. you know.
Sure did.
Well, I agree that you have to. In other words, like I'll just add to what True Seeker Female said is that you have to look for them. Okay, but there's a there's an element to that that I've heard several people say, whether it's you know Second Amendment pro people, prepper people, whatever else, don't advertise that you're a prepper, don't advertise that you're this or that. I get that, I understand that because of the surveillance and the censorship and everything else that's going on, but um, I do we do, or I should say, does anyone or any group sit back in the shadows, or is it time to come out and it's a very interesting question. You sit back in the shadows and do what you do and keep preparing, keep organizing, and you wait for the quote, the proverbial SHTF, whatever. But I think we're actually in it. I think we're actually in it. It's just rolling in slow motion, but it's happening. And um, the biggest things are, um, of course, three things I think: supply chain, inflation, and the
Food,
the banks, the banks, because the banks have been way upside down since 2007,
right?
and they've continued to do the same thing. So the banks, supply chain, and I said this before. I think I mentioned this last week on the feed that it doesn't seem like anybody in I don't know. It doesn't seem like, other than just maybe one or two states, anybody in um, in government systems, county systems, regional systems. It doesn't seem like anybody's real attacking it as though it's a major problem. It doesn't seem like there's any real action or real movement or real, even, I don't even want to say legislation, but even fixes or recommendations to how do we fix this, how do we correct it. I don't see that. I don't see that anywhere coming out of any administrative body, let's just say. So is everybody just perpetuating this? Not everybody, but I mean, are your governments, your governors, your county administrators, whatever, are they just going along with this program that's hidden in the background, running on an agenda timeline in the background, saying we're just going to keep letting it go until people start starving, and then there's riots, and then there's civil unrest. Is it that, or I'd be interested in everybody's opinion on that. Is it that, or is it just that they're so freaking incompetent, and don't really know what to do, that they're not doing anything? Because how do we get to 100 plus ships sitting off the coast of California, off of San Pedro and Long Beach? How do we get to 100? Okay, well, maybe when we got to 20 or 25, didn't somebody say, okay, flip the switches, put on the boots, put on the hazmat gear, come out of the shadows. Let's put our brains together and figure this out. Now we're at over 100 sitting off the coast. Come on,
Well,
man.
Yeah.
on that note, I think it has a lot to do with your state's regulations because the I mean they're finally bringing container ships in 2 a week here in Oregon, but the port of Portland, they built ships and refurbished ships in World War II, and about 4 years ago, I mean they shut down the ports, and everything's environmental, and you got to have we got to do an impact study on this, and we can't expand that. I mean it's all West Coast shit, right? And you got the port of Seattle, which I haven't heard any news, other than that container ship that lost. They first said it was 40 containers that fell overboard, and then the other day I saw that there was a fire on it, and then the last analysis was they lost 100 containers that are floating in the ocean. It's like, what the hell, man? You know. But I think it has a lot to do with all the regulations and shit, which, you know, I'm not a bit, you know, I was never a big, huge Trump fan. He did what he did, great. But, you know, that was one thing he was for, which I agreed with, was cutting regulations, you know, across the board to stop all this. Well, you know, I mean, what's going to happen if, you know, California in 5 years says, hey, no more diesel trucks and coming into the ports? You know, they all got to be electric trucks. It's like,
So
okay.
so how come the ships aren't coming into port? That's
Well, they're in the port. They're in the port. They're
oh
they're they're not even in international waters. They're off. They're in the United States waters now. They're
right, right.
3-4 miles off the coast.
But I thought you guys saying they weren't able to unload.
Well, that's a great speculative debate right there. But I got an insider report about 2 weeks ago. I didn't get the report. I'm sorry. I was watching an
Sure.
insider who's on the insider loop of the logistical mess that's out there right now. He's in the middle of it. He's between the shippers. He's between the shippers slash containers, the docks, and basically he's in the broker spot. He's moving. He's trying to figure out how to move stuff around, right? And he's part of one of many third parties that are doing this. And he said that the crux of the problem is not the ships and it's not the containers. It's the chassis that the containers have to get mounted on. If you ever watch any videos of the ports, they're loading those containers off, stacking them up on the piers, right?
It's called a
So
Busby trailer. They haul it around with a mule truck.
Hey,
there you
welcome
go.
to
There you
welcome to
go.
the fourth Stooge there,
There he
man.
is. There he
Welcome,
is.
Hey,
Roger.
man, it's the Three Stooges. This is a three-wheel car. I'm just here as a spare. All right.
Right, Busby trailer. So some people call them Busby trailers, some people call them chassis, whatever. It's the thing.
Do they come with are they on the ship
No,
or is the port
No.
supply those?
no, they're at the ports.
Okay.
So
The transportation company that offloads the ship owns them.
well, that used to be the case. That used to be the case. According to the insider, that's no longer the case because the shipping companies used to actually have manufacturing channels where they manufactured those chassis and they did own them and they would stage them at the receiving ports, right? But that's
Really,
been
because I worked for a transportation company as a welder, and I was the guy that was fixing and repairing, and yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
So what is the problem?
The problem is there's not enough chassis there to get
Why?
the containers on because, as I was going to explain,
Okay.
the third party companies that function has been handed off to don't have the control in the whole process anymore. They are only there to procure the trailers. They don't manufacture them. They don't own them. It's just like another piece of freight that they move along the chain. So, and I was talking to Bill about this last week. You know, he's actually seen trains in his area where they're carrying those chassis on rail cars going across the country. So there's this huge slowdown in getting the chassis to the ports, so they can put the container
So,
chassis, and the
so,
chassis can be hooked up by fifth wheel to the tractor trailers.
so the
So
longshoremen that onload and offload the containers don't own the Busby trailers or the
correct,
mule trucks.
correct, correct.
That's wild.
Yeah, they're
So
managed.
That's
This was from the insider, so I
so
take it.
seems a bit backwards to me.
well,
It
they've
is
been doing it. They've been unloading ships for 100 years. What's the problem? I don't understand this problem.
right.
Nothing either,
Well,
because I was working for a transportation company that did that same job. You know, it employed a bunch of longshoremen and a bunch of drivers and some maintenance people like me. And I mean that was I don't know within 2 decades ago. You know,
right, right.
and
And that,
we
yeah.
ran a tight organization there, man.
Well, that's the way it used to be, and that's why we didn't have backlogs like we got right now. That's why, because it was in control of either the shipping company or the receiving companies. Okay, but that's been handed off to third party vendors that manage that flow.
Yeah.
And I'm just
Is this
translating insider
is this
told.
happening on the East Coast also?
I don't know. I don't know if it's happening in ports like Louisiana, Houston or New York, or I don't know if it's happening there, but I know that that is a big problem on the West Coast.
Well, now that I've mentioned that I did in fact work for one of those transportation companies, I also have an insider, and from the company I used to work at, and he said they just don't have enough employees. The problem is they don't have enough trained longshoremen to do the damn job.
I'm sure that's part of the problem. I'm sure that's part
They've
of
got mule trucks and Busby trailers. I know they do, but
Okay.
that specific company, they own all their own equipment. They just don't
Where
have
did
enough
all
employees to do it.
where did all those employees go?
Good question, man. Good.
If they're anything like me, they got treated horribly and they, just left.
It's COVID. It's COVID. I'm telling
Well,
you.
they make very good money. I know that. So I don't get that.
Yeah, longshoremen
Um,
make really good money. I mean, their union makes sure, it could be,
this wasn't a unionized company.
oh, really?
This
Wow.
company didn't. Yeah, this was a private thing. They didn't pay very well, and they worked them all like dogs.
Huh. Well,
So
Well, yeah, I don't. It's all again. It's not my opinion. I see it, speaker there. I see what you're saying. It's not my opinion. This was an insider right in the middle of the mix. Um, More specifically to the West Coast. So I just can only relay what this is uh, a certified guy. He actually identified himself as a representative in this company, and so I took it as
well,
legitimate. It sounds like it might
sure,
make
sure.
sense, but
I just have a hard time believing this isn't planned.
right.
right,
I
like the
agree.
toilet paper shortage. Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that latest comment that True Seeker just made there. There are trucks just sitting in the port. And this is one thing that insider actually said that there are truckers showing up ready to pull those loads out, and most of them are sitting between 8 and 12 hours sitting at the ports because they can't they don't have containers loaded up hooked up to fifth wheel chassis and ready to roll. And there's they're losing productivity, they're losing flow, they're losing movement of all that cargo, all those goods that are coming in. But I agree with you. It is way deeper. I think it is a controlled event all the way.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
can I mention, do y'all remember seeing the videos during the lumber shortages, not while the lumber prices were spiking, but the lumber shortages? You saw videos of trains offloading lumber, piles and piles and piles of lumber on the side of the train track and then going away. It was like a staging yard and it stayed there for weeks. Not to mention, I've got a family member who drives a truck for a certain company. I'm just gonna stop there, but they weren't receiving and picking up and delivering any paper goods.
No paper.
Right. Well, out here in the Northwest, I mean, they basically killed the logging industry, 25 years ago. And we used to have a lot of paper mills that produce, guess what, toilet paper, and we don't have very many left. And a lot of the mills that, produce, cut the logs and then ship them to, the paper manufacturers. They don't exist anymore. The coast of Oregon was pretty much a logging, and then Southern Oregon were, logging communities, and they're all poor now. It's like because of a damn spotted owl. I mean, geez, we can produce shit here in our country if people would just say, "Hey, guess what? We're not going to be dependent on China, Canada, not to mention, Joe Biden now, begging OPEC to produce more oil." And it's like, why? We got tons of energy here, man. Come on.
There's a
Come on,
there's
man.
a you know what a pellet mill is, right? Where they make the little wood pellets that go in
Yeah.
your barbecue grill or whatever,
Yeah,
or
yes, I do.
whatever
I
oven
know
you
what
use.
those are.
Yeah, they use them. They burn it for electricity creation purposes and whatnot. There's a pellet mill in Mississippi that's going full steam ahead right now, and they power their entire facility by burning the bark and the leftovers. They're going full tilt right now.
That's good.
Europe does that too. I was watching something the other day, and and read some reports where Europe, they use a lot of biofuel for their energy too. It's like, wood and, like you were saying, the bark and everything else. They just burn it, and that's where they get their
Yeah,
energy.
burn it, make steam, and then, you know, generate electricity.
Right, right.
Well, back to what James was saying, I just believe all that's part of the Democrats' agenda.
Yep, they want everything to, it's like what Obama said a long time ago. We got to reimagine America, and you
Yeah.
know,
Well,
it's
he also said too that the GNP at 2% was a great thing.
Well,
yeah.
didn't the toilet paper thing happen under the previous administration? I mean, I just question. I'm not trying to throw a monkey
Sure,
wrench in
but
there,
when COVID hit, it was 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Or what shit?
but
I mean,
it's
and
been a
I did.
long ass 2 weeks, man.
It's like, well, okay, people gave up their liberty for 2 weeks, and yeah, it happened, but I think it scared the shit out of a lot of people because I talked to a lot of people, and my mom's like, all the old people she's talks to, they're all terrified of the virus, and it's like, well, and then some of my cousins and stuff like that, they're you know they're afraid, they're afraid, and fear is a big motivator in your actions, right?
Well,
So
it's on the news 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. COVID, COVID,
Yeah,
COVID, COVID,
it's
COVID.
called fear mongering and propaganda.
Exactly.
I mean, statistically, you're more at risk of a fatality driving your car than you are from, that thing. So,
Sure are.
Well, I want to offer something up here, and maybe it'll be a good maybe we can get some good chat and discussion about it. Um, is the you know I'd like to know, and this was part of the big discussion I said earlier I had with my son. By the way, Watcher, it was extraordinary today at the metal shop, if you know what I mean.
oh, practice went well, I hear.
It was
I guess.
extraordinary, and
Very good, very good.
yeah, um,
I hope his practice went better than yours, so the grasshopper can, you know,
yeah.
move ahead.
Well, I got my hands on a Kimber 357 today, brand new. We were the first two to actually expel precious metals from the precious metal. So it went really well. But uh, I'd like to offer this up, and I've talked to a few people about this. I'd like to see what the discussion, what people think about it, about forming. Screw it, let's just call it an underground economy. But I want to say, underground sounds a little devious, but it's, everybody knows what I mean when I say that. But I think that again, in my opinion, I think that there's a huge opportunity for folks out here to connect and build this kind of network. Let's just call it a network um, of local producers, local manufacturers, local farmers, ranchers, farms, whatever. And I'd like to know what if people think that that can be done in their areas.
As in creating like a town note
Yeah,
or a
like their own little mini economy. Um, and preferably another video for another time under a private trust or private member associations.
right,
And
right.
anything that has AAA or Sam's Club or Costco, that's a private member association. So why couldn't
Mhm.
local communities form that and operate their own little PMA, if you will, private member association communities, if you want to call it that? Why can't we do that? I'd like to see what people think about it. And again, this was part of my son and I are going to be branching this idea out here in the next couple of weeks. We had very good discussions about it today. And again, I say, you all know where I'm at, so it's going to be challenging, but um, we're going to start by my son is self-employed, has his own business, and I have a side business, of course, with candles and stuff like that. But we're going to start branching out and seeing if we can use the tools that are available to us such as possible social platforms, whatever we're going to use. He's got a lot of followers in his business, and he uses the Instagram and everything else for marketing and stuff like that, and connections. I don't do the Facebook on my phone or anything like that, but we're going to put this little network framework together, and we're actually going to formalize it a little bit. We're going to write up sheets and notes, and we're going to compare them and bounce things off each other's heads, and see what we come up with, incorporating what we do, um, into possibly what other people may or may not be doing, and start forming a small network. Um, and it's just it's a speculative framework, if you will. We're kind of speculating and strategizing and thinking about how we can do it. But I think it's, I do believe, in my humble opinion, I do believe that, we're going to see a gigantic financial slash economic collapse here, um, gearing up more towards. I think when it really kicks in, either pre-Christmas or after Christmas this year, I think it's really going to kick in for a lot of people, because the shortages, the supply chain issues, and everything else are ramping up. Again, some people will say it's slow motion. I kind of agree with that, but it is accelerating, and I think I think after these holidays, people are really going to be in a state of mind where, you know, what the hell just happened? We've
Right,
never
and
seen.
like Truth Seeker Female was saying, earlier, I think she was saying something about New Yorkers standing up, and it was like, you know, I've dealt with a lot of New Yorkers in my life, and it's like, why didn't they stand up before? And I'm glad that the firefighters and I mean, these big cities are going to start having problem with sanitation, fire. I mean, 911 calls out here in the Northwest or, in the big cities are, 10 minutes before they can, or even half an hour before somebody can respond to it, or they're not even responding to anything. So
Yeah,
it's going to take people being impacted by crime, whether
right.
it be somebody trying to break into their house.
And New York has had stuff like this happen before, and they have a history of still voting for those Democrats.
Right. But on that note, James, Scarecrow, you support your local rancher, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about that a little bit, or keep that close to the vest?
No, we can talk about it. Ask
Yeah.
ask me ask me anything. I'm sure they don't
So
mind.
yeah, I mean, I know you got chickens, but you go get your
I raise
protein.
chickens. Yes.
Yeah. So you go get your
Uh,
other protein from a local farmer, right? Or
correct.
rancher.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yep. It's a it's a small one. He's got beef. He's got pigs, and they raise chickens, and they raise turkeys.
So
Nice.
that's kind of incorporated into your local area, right? Because you guys are
Oh yeah.
connected. You
They're
know.
open on. They only open on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Hmm.
They have a little store. It's a building, a little brick building, and it's right attached to the farm, and people go there.
So is that
And it's all frozen, of course.
right?
It's not. It's
Largely,
not.
but that's largely local and private transactions, right? That's just between community
Yep,
member to community member, right?
that's correct. Yep.
So so why isn't that being done on a large scale in 300 places, other places like that around the country? I'm sure there's a few, here and
I,
there, um, but
there's a
why?
lot
Yeah,
of areas like that around here.
yeah. Well, and see, that's resiliency right there. I mean, that's sustainable.
Yeah.
It's sustainable. It's
This meat
resilient.
this meat is not trucked in or nothing. It's right there. They raise them, they kill them, and it goes right in their freezer.
Yep.
All right, and they don't use hormones or anything like that, if I
No, they
remember
don't.
right.
No, no. Everything is
Right.
non-GMO.
Yeah. Cool.
That's freaking
And it,
fantastic.
it does cost a little bit more, but I mean,
Organic.
you're
It
not.
does. It does. My wife said it
Yeah, but
costs more than the supermarket, but
It
yeah,
costs
but
more
you're
for your
not
meal, but
support.
it costs less at the doctor's office, doesn't it?
probably
Right.
watcher.
Sorry,
Yeah.
my phone's starting to scratch out a little bit here. But yeah, I mean, we were talking about that the other night. The chicken and stuff that comes from the big farms. They inject water into it and all these other chemicals and shit. When you cook it, it's like half water and
And when
crap.
you buy those eggs in the store for 99 cents a dozen, and the carton costs 40 cents, what
Right,
kind of food do you think those chickens are getting?
yeah,
Right.
I mean,
Well, with the
they have to
injection
make a
of the
profit. Because I
the
go to
injections into the chickens, they
I
they
can go to
do
the
it with
Tractor
brine, which is a
Supply.
lot of salt and sugar.
I can go to the Tractor Supply, and the egg cartons cost 40 cents a piece.
Wow.
So
Wow.
how can they sell eggs 99 cents a dozen? Because I see them in stores around here, 99 cents, 89 cents. What are they feeding those chickens?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it's
Because
just
the food I feed my chickens, even if I sold my eggs for $4 a dozen, I couldn't make a profit.
right. Yeah. But see, you're supporting the local
yep,
network. You're supporting the local whatever you want to call it. Let's just call it your network, right? You're supporting your network of fellow like minds, other entrepreneurs, mom and pop businesses. And I do think there's a huge need, a huge need that should be realized by a lot of people. That, hey, turn the light bulb on above your head. And say, oh man, that
right.
sounds good. That
And
makes sense.
that's not supporting the mega international corporations that I mean,
Big ag,
right, exactly, yep,
industrial food complex, which is
Yeah,
what poisons us
right.
all, and
right.
you know
So
gets us
I
all
highly
sick.
I highly recommend not buying those eggs that sell for 99 cents a dozen because there's no nutritional value in them. I'm certain of that.
Not after they're pasteurized.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's
I
not just
don't
it's
I
not
don't
just
think that fixes it.
yeah. It's not just chickens and eggs and stuff like that too. It's the local people that maybe you have seamstresses, quilt makers, candle makers,
Hmm.
carpenters, whatever, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I do think, man, that would, I tell you what, if there was a giant community, maybe 3,000, 5,000, 8,000 people, something like that, somewhere that I found, I would and it was stable and it was sustainable. I'd probably beat feet right to it, man. I'd go right there.
Yep.
Right.
Because
It's
that's
on
longevity,
that
man.
note, it's kind of like the Amish way, right? They take care of themselves. You know, they don't like government. You know,
Well,
Right.
I mean, if you think about it, if you get you know, a pork chop from the big box store, right? It's flavorless. If you get a pork chop from a small farm that, they're eating acorns and stuff, that
Right.
pork tastes good, man.
It does.
It really
There's a
does.
big difference. There really is in taste. You're
It's a
right.
huge difference. Yeah. And also, man, we should be able to know where our food comes from. It would be so much healthier if you knew your farmer on a first name basis. Eat within 50 miles, you
What a
know?
freaking concept. What a concept. Yeah. How
Yeah.
about that?
Eat within 50 miles of your house,
Yeah.
eat local.
Oh, this is the
Yeah.
best bacon you ever had.
Yeah. I would encourage that, man. I try to push that, as well as many other people. I try to push that idea with people, but yet we're still lacking in the feedback and the communications channels. And I think if we were, if everybody here listening or watches this replay and changes the mindset a little bit and says, hey, why don't we try to do that? What do we have to lose? Why don't
Sure.
we do that and push it out, start get out. I used to say this a lot in my old campfire days, get out there and get the pulse of what's going on around you.
In
uh,
this farm that I go to, they make their own sausages too.
oh yeah.
Well, think about the health benefits of it too, because, you get a ham from, the big box store. They've injected that with brine as well as they do the chickens, right? There's a lot of salt, a lot of sugar, a lot of sulfates, and, a lot of stuff in there that you might not want in your body. You know, uh, Eating
Definitely a lot
local,
of
you
chemicals and
get something
hormones,
that's
from what I read.
organic and everything, and it's a lot healthier for you. And then you get to choose the amount of salt and sugar or whatnot you want to put on your ham or chicken, you know?
Why do you think so many young people are coming down with colorectal cancer?
Whoa, 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 whoa! I just got a visual, bro, dude.
Cerebral, what is it? Cerebral rectum. What's that thing called? Oh,
Cerebral rectimitis.
that's caused by the TB. That's right. Never mind. Sorry, that's a different one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Sorry I let the dog out, but yeah, there you go. Cerebral rectimitis, man.
Let's
I
all say.
remember that.
Let's all
I
say.
belong to that channel too.
Let's say it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Cerebral
Cerebral rectimitis.
rectimitis.
Type a new video on that channel.
Me tonight. Give me some of that cerebral rectimitis.
Little Sinatra.
Yeah.
Wow,
Sing it.
type of
Yeah.
Joey Bag of Donuts. Type of him.
Yeah. You want to hear how Joey would sing it?
Mm.
Hell no, I don't like Joey. Where's my buddy Jimmy at? I like Jimmy.
Oh,
Cerebral rectimitis.
You sing it, girl.
Hey, wait, he can't be a girl. He could identify as 55 different genders or whatever. You don't know that. Come on, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I assumed. My bad.
Well, just to recap, Jimmy is the confused, slightly feminine, claiming to be heterosexual individual that lives in a commune in Northern California.
I thought it was a fluid kind of thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, very fluid, very fluid. He's,
See, then I was right.
he's experimenting. He's still figuring things out, So, but yeah, I'd like to see. I mean, on a serious note, but I'd like to see. I'd like to see anybody that's watching this on the replay or whatever comment and see if. Should I say I dare you? I dare you to go out there and get the pulse and see if you can branch out. And then when we do a next show or whatever, either come into the chat or come up on the panel and tell us what's going on. If there's anybody out there now that wants to offer that, throw it up there or come up on the panel or do whatever. Since we got an open or we've opened the panel or whatever point.
Right.
Yeah, that's up to
You
the
got
host.
three.
That's my
Yeah, I
opinion.
mean, you just got three. Got three Stooges up here with the fourth, 3.5 Stooges here. That
What's a 3-wheeled vehicle, and I'm just a spare tire.
right. Yeah, I mean, we're
so
looking for.
are you guys buying from your local farmers?
Yes.
We don't
Absolutely.
have. I mean, we got local farmers here, which I do go to. We got a Bauman Farms here in my town. Well, a little bit outside my town, but we don't have too many ranchers here anymore. In in the valley, most of the ranchers in Oregon, they're all out in Central Oregon and Eastern Oregon, where they got all the land that they can feed their cows and stuff on. But yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, just to add to that, Bill, same kind of thing. I got a little 5-day slot here coming up at the end of next week where I'm going to hop into my let's just say reconfigured personal vehicle, and
Right.
I'm going to be taking a trip, probably northbound, slightly northeastbound, and I'm going to go out and see if I can make some contact with some of these folks that are producers, manufacturers, mom and pops, and connect with them and provide some real time information as far as what's going on and what could potentially be part of networks. And I'm going to see if I can gather as much information and see if I can connect people with that, because I do think it's going to be really really vital, especially moving on into 22 here. That there are resources out there that people can tap into, and I think it's.
I have a question. So these big farms, these big cattle ranches that work for big ag that have to be FDA approved and all that stuff, right?
Mhm.
They all gonna have to follow through with that mandate thing? You know, the jab and all that.
Good
I mean,
question.
it's federal, right? FDA, right?
Right.
It's just a thought running through
Well,
my head a minute ago.
we have to wait for the rules to come out, which they said we're going to be in 2 weeks, and shit, we're a month plus on this stuff. But on that, industrial thing, when my older brother was alive, he lived in just outside of Greeley, Colorado, and we went shoot the precious metals up in the Pawnee National Grasslands, and we drove past one of those big, I mean, enormous cattle places that are in Colorado, and it was like they were walking around in their own, and it just smelled like crap, and it's like, oh, that's a beef you're eating, great, they're all in pens and everything.
Well, that's how they get sick, and then they transmit the sickness to other,
Right.
bovine ruminant
You
species.
got to go to the small farms.
Yeah, where they
Right.
actually graze their animals, and rotational grazing is awesome.
Grass
Well,
fed.
grass fed beef, right? You're not, grain and concrete and all the other crap they try to feed these damn cows and chickens and pork and everything else,
I must say there's something good to be said about grain finished, but grass fed through their
Sure.
life. Yeah,
Right.
good stuff.
Well, guess what the primary element in the diet of most livestock was 100 years ago?
Probably
No.
cannibalistic stuff.
What was it?
Grass and corn fed are pretty good.
I was gonna say cannibalistic type stuff.
No. Anybody else?
The farmers, what they do is they sell the corn. They cut the corn down. It's called cow corn. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let me rephrase the question.
And it's silage, and they feed them that.
Silage. That's what.
Well,
That's good for cows.
Here. Okay, let's go back 200 years. Do you know what the primary feed element was for livestock 200 years ago?
Yeah, grass and bramble and whatever was growing out in the field.
But what was growing in the fields?
Probably hay.
Alfalfa.
Oh no, that big tall grass. No shit. What's it called?
Well,
You know what
around
I'm
here
talking
they have alfalfa.
I'm going to give it away.
It's like
It begins with
sphagnum, not sphagnum. That's a moss. It's something.
It starts with the letter H.
Hay. Hemp. Oh, good one.
Damn!
Oh, I was thinking of like sorghum. Is that what it's called? Sorghum grass? That big tall grass?
But hemp was the primary feed. Now, in the 1920s, something happened, right? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was before that. It's called who's the big newspaper tycoon then? What's his name? His daughter was abducted. Damn,
Hearst.
can't think of his name.
Hearst.
Yeah.
Patty Hearst.
Yeah. Well, they came out with the movies in the 20s and 30s. Remember the Reefer Madness movies, and they showed people.
Oh, you smoke this and you'll want nothing but.
Right. So they clumped up hemp, even though it's the male version of the cannabis sativa plant, right? They clumped it together with marijuana, right? Which is, if in case people don't know, it's the female side of the cannabis plant, right? That's the ones that have the flowers, the ones that you in Southern California, you can go into your designer shops and get, whatever variety you want of. But hemp was the primary element in feed. If you didn't grow hemp 200 years ago in this country, you could be prosecuted and hung in the village square for not growing it. Now, when they clumped the hemp in with the marijuana for reefer madness, they classified it as whatever it is, class 4 or class 2, whatever the hell drug fucking, I'm sorry for the language, but they classified it and eliminated
Sorry, Mom.
hemp. Yeah, Mom, sorry, Mom. You, damn, I forgot.
Yeah, she did adopt you, man. So we're good there.
Right. So they eliminated,
Hi,
uh,
Mom.
by government classification, they eliminated hemp from production. Now, in December of 2018, we had a certain person in the at 1600 that said, "Well, that doesn't make freaking sense. Why don't we just release hemp back into the wild, so to speak?" And henceforth, what exploded? Of course, the CBD market exploded because
Yep.
now it could be cultivated, grown and cultivated and processed again, and it was
Right.
released from
And
its
we
separate.
got hemp fields here where I live because
Right.
a lot of the farmers that used to grow corn and cauliflower or whatever, they're hemp fields now because
Hmm.
there's money in it now, right?
Yeah.
Again, once again. So
Well,
You want to,
you've heard of
if,
hemp clothing, you've heard of hemp concrete, you've heard of hemp fibers. I mean, it's a phenomenal crop. Um,
well, you can make paper products out of it too.
just imagine if we could cultivate that and harvest it as feed again for our animals, what would we then be eating, right?
Didn't
You want
they
to
So
used
hear a
to
little
make the
story
currency
about
out
wheat?
of hemp?
yeah, yeah.
I think I read somewhere they used to make currency out of hemp.
The Declaration of Independence was written on hemp paper.
Right.
The
I knew I
Constitution
read.
was written on hemp
The
paper.
Europeans sailed over here with, hemp ropes and on their boats, and
Correct.
you know, the
Yeah.
sails were probably made out of some kind of hemp fiber mixed with other fibers, and
Right. So,
Yeah, it's the best rope at the time.
and then just think about it. I don't know if you folks know much about CBD, but the
I don't
medicinal
know much about it.
the medicinal slash health biological benefits are enormous. And once people are taking that CBD, of course, extracted from the male plant, that it's heavy in all kinds of terpenes and
it's
elements and stuff.
yeah. Can I get some feedback there on that? Hey, welcome in Hex Foods. Um, I think it was last year. I started taking a little CBD oil. For my knees and my back, and it really made me feel better. But it was like, you know, we got to cut the regulations because of price, and of course the taxes are most of it here in Oregon. Whether I mean, it's like, gee, the taxes here on CBD is just ridiculous. But it was like $20 a bottle, and it's like I can't afford to keep, spending $20 a bottle to take a couple drops in the morning, a couple drops at night, and then by the
I
end
mean,
of the week I'm out of
you should be
freaking
free to
CBD.
go to that place that makes it, buy it in a consensual, exchange of whatevers, and do your own trials for yourself instead of mandating
It's
human
natural.
trials like, they're doing now.
It's all
Well,
natural.
I'll tell
It
you,
does work. I know that for a fact. It's just
if
they
you
got to
get
get the prices down.
right, well,
I
if
don't
you
think
get
it will happen because of the pharmaceutical industries. Here, no, pay $20 for this, pill, and it's like, okay, great. Well, you could have spent, you know, $20 on a bottle. I mean, it's way too expensive, but $20 on a bottle of CBD and take a couple drops,
I
twice
think
a
it's like
day,
two
and
ounces.
you
okay,
start better.
well, let me help you with that. Okay, if you get the pure CBD from a reputable company, and you get one bottle, it'll run you at a wholesale price. If you're a member, whatever, you join up, whatever, you can get a wholesale bottle of CBD for about $60. Okay, so that's $2 a day. The reason I say that is because you could take 6 to 8 drops in the morning under your tongue and 6 to 8 drops at night, and that bottle will last you 30 days.
Hmm.
Okay, if you go with a reputable company and you get the full spectrum CBD. So I've researched this extensively. I've been a member of some of these companies, so I'm pretty well versed in it. But the actual full spectrum pure CBD actually does work. Um, there have been people that, again, on Google and YouTube and everybody else, all you snoopers. I'm not a medical doctor. Full disclaimer: I'm not doing
Right.
medical advice. It's not, a dietitian, nothing like that. But it's actually proven there are over 17,000 now clinical studies that have been published on the benefits, the medicinal properties, and all the other stuff.
There's
Right.
also
They're
some recreational things you can do with that CBD oil of the bedroom nature. Just saying.
whoa,
Wow,
okay.
I'm interested in
Hey,
that.
hey, hey! I didn't say nothing nasty. I was vague. I was, I
I-
was.
I-
That was clean language.
You see, it's
That
that
was
three
clean
little word,
language.
man. That three little word. The brain creates. Did somebody say sex? No.
No, I didn't. I
Oh,
no,
okay.
no,
All
no.
right. I'm just saying, bro. You know what I mean?
I said bedroom of a
But see, the mind translates, though. The mind.
Oh, Larry, she,
recreational.
Okay. So I'm just saying, bro. Just saying. All right.
Hey, I said it very cleanly, but I led y'all right down the road I needed you to go down. That's all.
Pervert.
Gutterhead, fucking gutterheads.
Sorry, mom. Sorry, mom.
Sorry, mom. See, and that's why I was being clean about it. You're welcome.
Right.
Uh,
But yeah, it's and if anybody needs help with that, I'm pretty well versed. I can help you with that. But anyway, you don't
Mr.
have
Haney.
the little $20 bottles are shit. Sorry, mom.
okay.
Um,
No, well, True Seeker female is wondering what CBD is, and then also good for pain. I can attest to it is good for pain. I took it for I think 2 months, and I quit taking it because it was too
I
expensive.
can't
But
remember what the
it really,
initials stand for.
So how long did it help your pain? Hours, days,
it
or
really- no, go ahead.
how long did it help your pain go away? How long did the pain go away
The whole
before it
time I
came
was
back?
taking it was probably 3 days, and my knees stopped hurting. My back was a lot looser. I didn't have the grinding
Hmm.
pain at the bottom of my spine, and then that's when I was out walking and stuff because I could do that, and I mean it doesn't affect you. Like with a lot of people think CBD, man, it's gonna make you high. It's like, no, it doesn't. It just makes your joints. It's kind of
It
like
doesn't have much of a psychotropic effect on you at all, does it?
no, it
no,
doesn't.
no, it
Absolutely
doesn't.
not. And that's why I waited for years to take it. It's
So
like, well, I don't
it's
want to take any
it's
marijuana products.
temporary. It's temporary relief.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean, if you're taking it on a continual basis, it definitely does help. I mean,
With proper use and exercise, you will feel better.
right.
correct.
Well, right.
Well, it works on the. It works on the. I'll just give you a little visual here. You know those little, what do they used to call them? Mobiles that you hang above a crib, and it's got all those little dinky things hanging off of each rail. Okay, and it spins around, and the baby goes, "Ooh, God," right? And this little mobile is spinning around. Okay, well that's what the systems in your body look like. Okay, just for a visual reference. Okay, so all these different systems, your lymphatic system, your immune system, right? All your different biological systems that are supposed to work, right? This is what's called homeostasis. And homeostasis is in the body where it's all the systems are working together correctly. In other words, the nerve centers are sending the right impulses, the electrons and the neurons and everything else is communicating together. So the brain says, "Okay, good to go. Everything feels good and everything works properly." In a nutshell,
Mm.
that's what homeostasis means. It's balance in the body between all systems. So what CBD does is it activates and builds bridges in the body, in the biological systems, to enhance the transmittability of the communications between the different organs and systems in the body and the brain. So the brain is a happy brain. Okay. Now, again, full disclosure, Google, YouTube, whoever. I'm not a medical.
Hmm.
I'm not offering advice, but I'm going off the clinical studies, okay, and the published information, okay. So what happens when you put
That and
CBD
his
in
own
your body?
personal experiences.
Right, my own personal opinion. But so
Okay.
what happens is when you put this CBD, which is from the male portion of the cannabis sativa plant. Okay, the non-psychotropic federal the regulators say that you can't have more than 0.3% THC if there is any in any CBD product. So there is absolutely no psychotropic effect. So it puts the body, it encourages the body and the brain to work together to produce homeostasis in the body. Okay. So when you get people with these different medical diagnoses, most of the medical diagnoses with diseases, conditions, symptoms are a result of
I
two
was gonna
things.
say, for example, like seizures, because not that I know anybody, I'm just saying I've heard through the grapevine that it kind of helps with that sort of thing too.
Correct. Correct. There have been, uh, yeah. Let me just finish this one thought. Watch it. Yes, you're correct. But the thing is when the body and the brain are in balance, in
Beep, beep,
homeostasis,
Richie.
right? So there's two things that are the most prevalent contributors to diseases and symptoms in the body. Okay, two things: inflammation and mineral
Yep.
deficiencies. Okay, so what CBD does is it enhances your systems to deliver these minerals, these nutrients, everything that you're assuming that you're on a halfway decent diet of some kind. It enhances the delivery of these minerals, nutrients, stuff in the body and in the brain. So it brings everything back to normal. I'm trying to give you the Cliff Notes version. Okay. So that's what CBD does. Now, there are 7 or 8 different varieties. There's CBDA, CBG, CBDB, uh, CBDC. There's different variations that come out when the CBD is actually processed into a product for biological or bioavailability consumption. Okay. So, long story short, all these great things get put in your body. The body says, "Hey, what is this crap?" And it's really making me feel good. So, what does it do? What are the two things again? What are the two things that produce most symptoms and diseases in the body?
Inflammation, one.
Inflammation and mineral and nutrient deficiencies.
Hmm.
So, CBD basically opens up the doors and allows these things to operate, assimilate, bioavailability in the body again, and restores it. So what happens? Bill's knees stop hurting. Bill's back gets more flexible, right? As you said, right, Bill? So
Right.
you see the effect of what the natural, 100% natural product, again, pure CBD oil, is doing inside the body. And that's what it does. I hope that answers Truth Seeker females questions. Uh, let's see. It is good for pain. It can definitely help with sciatica. Will this affect your blood because I have to be 100% clean for my job? Now, there are two versions, real quick, Cliff Notes versions. Okay. Full spectrum. Again, federal regulations in CBD retail slash production slash manufacturing say that it can be no more than zero point 0.3 of any THC found in any product. Most of the good companies will have third party clinical labs assess their production lines and they have to publish it publicly. Okay. So I have yet to find anybody that's pop positive on a test. Okay. But there are two versions of CBD. If you want to get complete 100% assurance that you'll never pop, you get what you call CBD isolate. Okay. So there's CBD full spectrum and CBD isolate. Okay. Isolate is absolutely certified by the company by third party clinical analysis, lab analysis, that there is no possibility of any THC in there. But again, I've had people that have, again, I've been affiliated with these folks in the past, people that have purchased full spectrum, which is the full spectrum line, full effect, non isolate version, and have never popped positive on a test. But the isolate is certified that you will never um, produce it. And you get most of the effect, but the CBD full spectrum will give you even more terpenes and nutrients and bioavailability than the isolate will. So to
Right.
answer your question, if you get the isolate, you get all the effect, but you get the certification that it will not, definitely not certified certified not to produce any kind of negative thing for your job and everything else. I hope that answers your question.
Well, if I know it's probably big down in California, too, but up here in Oregon and Washington, you know, the taxes are so huge on this shit. It drives prices up, and of course the regulation and everybody they want you to take go to your doctor and get the pharmaceutical that your doctor recommends, and then they make money. If they would cut the regulations on CBD a little bit and cut the damn taxes, I think our population would be a lot more healthy, man. You know.
Oh, you
Definitely.
mean like that little pharmaceutically made pill that the doctor prescribes you that the troops are over there guarding the fields of the plant that grows and they manufacture it from?
Yeah. Brought to you by Pfizer. Brought to you by Pfizer. Brought to you by Pfizer. I don't know if you guys saw that, man, that video, but yeah, it's yeah, the pharmaceutical companies are,
I got
you know,
a little nice little trivia question for you all. Do you know who the first CEO of Moderna was?
Fauci. What?
Anthony Fauci.
There you go.
Who was the first company to get approval for the Gatorade?
Moderna.
Moderna.
I don't Gatorade. I was just thinking that was the Florida Gators, man. Gatorade.
Rumor has it Fauci is Mangala's son.
Tonight.
Oh, could be, man. Could be.
Who's been at the NIAID/NIH for 37 years?
Fauci.
Anthony Fauci.
That's longer than the last time he's seen a patient.
So,
Right.
it's just funny how that all works, isn't it? It's just kind of funny.
Yeah. The mad scientist.
Cool, huh? Pretty freaking cool. Um,
Name a pharmaceutical company that has big felony charges against them and multi-million-dollar lawsuits.
Pfizer.
And
It was
nothing will
Moderna,
happen.
but either way.
Yeah. So,
Oh, they settled. Yeah, they paid.
Yeah, that's the problem. They always settle these. It doesn't matter what huge corporation. It's like, well, we can kibosh this stuff because we can, we make billions of dollars every year. If we got to pay out $100 million, you got to look at the business side of it. It's like, we'll take the loss. We can write it off, as a loss, whatever, and we won't have to pay taxes on it, or
So
whatever.
true. So true.
Yeah.
yeah, see that right there, Bill, in the comments. Debbie Carson says I used it for my doggy who had cancer. Pet strength. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, they're the company that I'm currently affiliated with, and the one I was formerly affiliated with has CBD treats for pets, and anybody who's heard my Sheltie barking all the time will know that I should be getting more treats. I'm actually out of them right now, but they actually
And
calm.
he's almost as old as Remo, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
Remo's-
but they actually do
Hey,
calm him down. And I noticed that he's a little bit more playful when he's taking CBD treats.
right.
So that's just at the pet level. But there are many videos out there um, where there was the most recent one I saw, and I can dig these up and send them to anybody who wants them. But there was a lady with what do you call it? Again, full disclaimer: I'm not a medical doctor, but a lady who had Parkinson's. Okay, and one of the biggest side effects or symptoms of Parkinson's is tremors. Okay, this lady she was just a customer of one of the affiliates that had given her a trial version full spectrum. She put uh, 4 drops under her tongue, and in less than a minute her tremors stopped. She had tremors for 20 and 25 years of her life. The tremors stopped in 4 seconds just from putting 4 steps, because you put it under your tongue for maximum bioavailability and assimilation into your body. That's where you should be putting CBD drops under your tongue. And her tremors literally stopped in 4 seconds.
Sounds like good stuff.
They
So
won't allow that because if they do that, then all the symptoms go away and they can't charge you for the other medications to stop the other symptoms.
Right.
rectamundo,
That's right.
rectamundo. But this is a plant that, you know, let's just say
Yep.
a plant that was placed on this earth by someone. Anyway, a plant that was placed on the earth. It's been around for thousands, literally thousands of years, and of course, it was banned in the country for almost 80 years, and now it's been released from its bondage, from its cell, from its imprisonment, and it is doing phenomenal things for people. Just changing
Right.
lives.
Here on that note, let's go back to the 10th Amendment. Why did that happen? Because states stood up to the federal government on CBD and hemp, right? That's just what I've seen is I mean, especially Oregon, because there. I mean, you can't turn on the radio here without hearing some other company selling CBD crap, and it's like that would have never happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago, right? It's because Oregon, they did a good job on that. It was like, no, screw you, we're doing it, and it was part of the legalizing marijuana, which, you know, I tried marijuana once when I was really young, and I was like, yeah, this doesn't do anything for me. But cut the
I was
regulation.
gonna go to
Let,
work,
let,
but then I
let
got
the
high.
states decide what is best for their best for their state and their citizens.
Let
And
people
don't like
exercise
it.
their individual freedoms and rights and let them choose for themselves. You know,
Right, right,
I mean,
right.
if I
Damn
want to
right.
smoke and you don't want to, that's fine. No
Damn right.
problem.
Yeah. But to answer Truth Seeker female's question here in comments, I would highly recommend it, and um, you know, it's always good to, and if you get it from a if you get CBD from a reputable company, the two that I know that are absolutely sound are CTFO and HempWorks. That's HEMPWORX. Go on to any one of those sites. I'm also an affiliate with CTFO, but you don't have to come to me to do it, whatever. But those two companies, HempWorks, that's all one word, Hemp, WORX, and CTFO. Um, and if you go to either one of those companies, those are sound, very established. Of course, they're regulated. Very sound companies to get full spectrum. And
Also, I've tried some of that topical cream, the CBD,
correct.
for muscle
Yep.
aches and joint pains
Yep.
and stuff.
Yep.
It's not
Yep.
bad. It works pretty good.
Yeah, it does. Depends on the strength. You can get it from 500 milligrams all the way up to 1200 milligrams. Depending on the strength level you want. But yeah, it's a phenomenal product from a natural plant. It's all natural. It's not, to use Scarecrow's term there. It's not GMO, non-GMO. It's completely naturally occurring substances. Um, and if you want to enhance homeostasis, balance, and get those nerve centers in the brain and the body systems working, definitely I would recommend having a couple bottles on hand. But yeah, I would put a bottle in that because even if you get some ailments, some symptoms, whatever, this and that, when you tell the body that you've got something good for it and it knows it and it recognizes it and it's bioavailable in your body will naturally, the body is a phenomenal, the body and the mind are phenomenal systems, perfectly designed to heal themselves. And
Oh,
again, I'm not a medical doctor, but
It's better to have it and not need it.
yep,
definitely have to get some.
yeah, it
I'll
will do
probably
wonders.
get some of that.
It will do wonders. And again, if you're worried about potential, as they say, popping positive on a test, just get the isolate versions. And both of the companies have the isolate available. It'll say THC free on the bottles. On the isolate bottles, even on the full spectrum, they'll say THC free on them. But the isolate is a little bit more processed in a natural cold process way, usually with carbon dioxide. So, but that's how most of the good companies process it from the plant. It's cold processed and pressed. So, just to, if that'll help anybody, yeah, get the if you're extremely worried about it, get it CBD isolate. If you're not concerned, you probably won't pop positive anyway. You can go full spectrum. But anyway, anybody needs any help, I'm glad to help them. But anyway, I know we talked a lot about CBD here, but it is one of those natural, shall we call it a remedy, or naturally occurring substances from a God placed plant on this planet.
Could it
Um,
be referred to as a homeopathic remedy?
yes,
Yeah,
homeopathic,
absolutely.
holistic and homeopathic. Yes,
Good.
unicorns and rainbows. Yes. Um, but anyway, sorry, I took a lot of oxygen out of the room there, but
No, no worries. I was gonna probably end this anyway because it's hour and a half here. So, any closing thoughts, guys? Thanks for coming up for sure, and we'll try to do this every Saturday at 6 p.m.
Next time, ask me about wheat and gluten allergies.
Oh,
oh
okay.
yeah. But I would just, my final thought would be what we talked about a few minutes back, is that get out there and get the pulse, and see if you can make some connections, folks. See if you can make some connections. Maybe you can build a little mini economy in your area, and then come back and tell us about it. And it's good information for everybody. Don't be afraid to come up on a panel in the future if you want. You want to talk about it, or just chat about it, but share it, because if we can build a network, um, of resources, skill sets, whatever, things for folks. That's a big part of I think, not stepping on the host here, but I think of what we're trying to do here, is building and connecting. And I would say, please bring that info out. Please go out and get the pulse of your communities. It's going to be extremely vital here going forward.
So, do you
Most
guys have food pantries out where you live?
Yes, but most of them have scaled way back in my area.
Are they
Right.
government fund? Is it government or from donations?
Private. Most of
Well,
them are
in
private in
my
my area.
town, it's we got a Catholic church here, and they have it's in the the what is it, Pat? I don't know what the heck they call, because I'm not Catholic, but the pastor's house across the street from the church, they got a garage that's always, in the summertime when I walk the dog, it's once a week, there's people there, showing up, either delivering food or picking up food. So yeah, there's a lot of
Non-climate
community.
controlled environment. Yeah, in the summer. Oh, great place.
Hey, Bill.
Sorry, I had to.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry, Doctor. Excuse me. I'm going to send you a link in on the private chat side here. Can you punch
yeah,
it into the chat for Truth Seeker? Hold on a second. I'm going to send it over.
sure, I
Okay.
can try. Let's see here.
We have a lot of food pantries around here, and a lot of churches that give donations. But the problem with some of those churches, they will only donate foodstuffs if you're a part of the congregation.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
During the ice storm, my neighbor, her power went out, and the church over there nearby, like we could throw a rock and hit it. They wouldn't let her come
Hey,
in.
JC, I can't. It won't let me copy it from private
Okay.
chat. So just
All right. Let
drop it
me let me
in. If
spell it out. Let me spell it out for Truth Seeker. Okay. This is just a link. You don't have to. You can just go to ctfo.com. But my link is JCLEAD dot myctfo.com. Again, you don't have to do anything with me, but if you just go to myctfo.com, that is probably the premier one. And again, full spectrum or CBD isolate, they have them available. But that's a good link. I hope that came through to you. Thanks, Bill, for that minute. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Well, hey guys, as always, good conversation. Good conversation last night, and you know, Three Stooges could be Four Stooges or Four Musketeers or something. Four
Yeah,
Amigos next.
yeah.
You know,
Bring him in,
Mo.
baptize him, pour the water over his forehead. Get him in here. Get him in here.
right. So
Whatever,
anyway,
man.
thanks for showing up, guys. And if you watch the replay, thanks for watching. And, thanks for the guys coming up on the panel tonight. And everybody have a good night, okay?
Great
Like and
feed.
subscribe.
There you go.
Helps
Thank
people.
you.
Awesome. Good feed. Good night, everybody.
Good night,
Yeah, good
everybody.
stream. Good night.